Part A report, and that will be moved by Ali Jones and seconded by Pauline Cotter. I just wondered, in the course of the background, it talks about building 13 routes over 8 years, and we've changed that in the annual plan to 5 years. So I just wondered if we could make sure that that was updated in terms of the report. How do we... Right, so, well then in the resolution, can we put noting that, right at the beginning, it's recommended that the council, and then in bracket put noting that the intention is to build the 13 routes over 5 years. Yeah, the major cycleway, major cycleways project over 5 years. Yeah. Is that all right?
Can I just say that with this, the idea with this cycleway is to take cyclists off Cranford Street and Papanui Road, enable them to get from basically Northlands, if you like, through to Rutland Street, and then the extension of that will be down Trafalgar and then Colombo and into the CBD, but this is the first part of that. But I can just say that at the we had a deputation at the board meeting from a resident whose property backs onto this reserve, and he was upset about the lighting and the loss of privacy. Now, staff have since worked very closely with this person, and I believe they've actually resolved those issues. But these are the sorts of things that staff are anticipating that can slow the whole thing down, which is why it was originally 8 years to 5.
Yeah.
So this is an example of how these things will crop up, and it's not the money, it's these kind of issues. So I have to commend staff for working really closely with this particular man and got his concerns alleviated.
Yeah, Ali.
I'm seeking a clarification either from yourself, Leanne, or from staff. There's been some mention from one particular community board member that the project, the cycleway project, has been delayed. Now, I just want to clarify this, that originally when we looked at 8, and I know that it was reduced to 5, what is being suggested by this community board member is that 5 years from this point now is in fact 8 years after the earthquakes, therefore it is a delay. Could you just clarify that, please?
No, well, I don't have all the facts in front of me, but...
Oh, there may not be anyone to clarify it.
Well, I don't really want councillors to enter into a debate about a clarification request, but we can provide that to you. Perhaps if, Carleen, you could take a note of that and report back at the next meeting with a full picture on it, because Pauline is absolutely right. There was nothing to do with the money. It was to do with the capacity and the fact that there is slippage always when there are, you have to negotiate with property owners over property rights matters. So, but we've now put it onto the organisation that says maybe, but we will deliver in the 5 years, and we will deal with this as part of the long-term planning process. But I think it would be unreasonable to suggest that you take into account well, I mean, it was set out in the 3-year plan, which actually we're in year 2 of, so I don't know why anyone would have the view that it's delayed.
It wasn't proposed on February the 23rd.
No, I know. Yeah.
I mean,
Yanni.
Let's be honest about that.
2 questions. Given what we've heard about lighting this morning, given that I think we're going to have a number of concerned people about lighting around our cycleways, particularly where they're close to residential, have we given enough consideration to the types of lighting, or is that something that we could maybe get some further advice on? And the second question is, why would you have a cobblestone going past where the cycleway connects into the road? Like, is it possible to maybe have the cycleway separate from the cobblestone so that, it just seems quite silly. I know with things like scooters and other things, cobblestones are actually a hazard, not a kind of safety feature.
Sorry, where's that in the resolution?
Rutland Street and Tomes Road. It's got proposed raised threshold, and cobblestones, and that whole area where the cycleway actually goes back into the road.
Which recommendation is this?
It's on the diagram.
Sorry, I misunderstood because it says approve that the sealed path formed between Grants Road and Tomes Road be resolved as a shared path. Have I got that wrong? Is it not a sealed path?
On page 41, attachment to clause 2.
That's cobblestones and that's the shared path.
This pink bit. This one.
Creating that surface as being different identifies it as a slow road for a shared road. So that's where they have to link in with the road. So it's a safety feature.
Yeah, I would have thought it's safety for slow too.
Not the pathway. Isn't that the corner? It's to slow
But
the
it's
traffic
where it
down.
rejoins the
It's an
road.
extremely acute corner with very poor visibility and has had cars parked quite well into it. It's a dangerous corner that people need to slow down for. I suspect this is a threshold treatment to try and encourage cars to slow down into that space as the cycleway merges with it.
So my
But
point
if
is,
I'm not the traffic engineer, we can certainly get advice from the traffic
I
team
have
if you like.
no problem with slowing down the traffic. That makes a lot of sense. What I have an issue with is putting the cyclists going straight into a cobblestone into the road in a blind corner.
It doesn't look like it is. I believe it's going into the path, the sealed path formed between Grants Road and Tomes Road. That's what it says in the resolution. It joins the pathway, not the road. Is that not right?
Well, the diagram doesn't show that. But if that could just be clarified, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So can we have a noting provision that just simply notes noting that and then put note staff to provide advice on well, no, the way I've read it is that it doesn't join.
Sorry, there are two different areas of this. I think the diagram that Yanni is looking at is Tomes onto Rutland. So it is that really, it's a pretty nasty corner with the reserve off to the left. In the writing, or in the text, it refers to the sealed path formed between Grants Road and Tomes Road. So they are different areas.
Okay.
And on the face of it, I have to say what Yanni is saying does in fact look to be the case. I can't see that cycleway does become anything other than part of the road once it comes off that reserve area.
But it will have a pathway. It does have a pathway.
Okay, and I think that probably,
So the
as you
question
said,
is
needs to be
that a
clarified.
shared pathway? Yeah.
Okay, well, let's clarify that.
Okay, so note that staff to provide advice on the safety aspects of the connection of the cycleway to, and what road is that? It's onto Rutland Street.
The cycleway is running down Rutland, not Tomes. So what we're talking about in that diagram is the cycleway crossing Tomes and continuing on Rutland.
Yeah,
So it's actually onto Rutland.
yeah.
If you
onto
actually look at it,
Rutland
it's got
Street.
a diagram of actually a give way sign for the cyclists with a hold rail, so they actually pull up there, hold onto the rail, and wait for the roadway to clear before they actually enter into it. So it does actually enter off the cycleway straight into the road. Yeah.
Who've designed this to talk to you about why they've designed it the way they did it. I'm sure there is a reason why they've done what they've done, and it may be to slow the cyclists down as well, so they don't emerge too quickly onto Rutland Street and collect with the traffic.
Yeah, but
coming around the corner.
cobblestones is an issue, so
Yeah,
for
okay.
bicycles, yeah, no question.
Who would you like the advice back to, and in terms of your decision making? How would you
No,
like this to
just provide the advice. We can do it through the Chief Executive's report.
work? Thank you.
Great. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. onto the Spraydon